Alrighty, welcome to the weekend video. This is Enda here. It is night time on Saturday night. I didn't think it would take this long to get a video done today, but that's just the way it's worked out. Okay, so let's get just straight down into it. I'm not going to beat around the bush too much because, you know, we all have things to do. It's Saturday night. Yeah, it is, but there's nowhere to go. Oh, the world is moving back into lockdown again, but we got there before you. I think this is our second week now of a 6-week lockdown. Alright, but this time around, it ain't actually so bad. You know, I used to joke the previous time around that everybody was just adopting my life because, you know, I work from home and got the kids around the whole time, so, you know, wasn't that much difference, was it? Okay, anyway, I'm going to get to euro dollar first. So this is the 4-hour chart, and again this is the long triangle pattern that I've been working with. Here's the weekly chart. A triangle within a B wave. I was expecting a bit more of a move down in wave D, to be honest. The long-term triangle here would even suggest maybe a move towards 106. But well, I can't rule it out, but it doesn't look likely that it's going to happen right now, does it? We have had a move down this week. I am viewing it as wave D of a larger B wave triangle. The question is, or the point is, I suppose, we have not ruled out this flat correction, or no, actually it'll be a zigzag correction in wave B. Either. So what does that point to next week? Well, immediately not a whole lot. I still expect this down wave, this is probably a C wave, to move down to this lower trend channel line of this small trend channel. So you can see here 114 at least. In general, this wave C of D, I was always kind of looking towards, you know, the 111, 110 area. If we are to follow this lower trend channel line, or this lower triangle trend line here, it would suggest maybe somewhere down around the 112 area. So it's a wide band of, you know, let's say trend line and trend channel suggestions for the target for wave C of D. So that'll be wave C. This will be wave B. And have we a wave A? We have wave A there. So you can see wave A, B, and C down in wave D. Let's just work with the nearest target first of all. 114.95. We'd expect 5 waves down in. So we'll call it 114. We expect 5 waves down in wave C, so let's see how that's working out so far. 5 waves down in wave C. Well, we could be looking at the end of wave 1 of 5, or sorry, at wave 1 of C. So that's what I've shown here: wave 1 down and wave 2 up as a counter trend rally. There is a kind of a lower probability count, which suggests that we could be in wave 1, 2, and wave 3 of C already. So this extension lower is within wave 3 of C. Given the fact that I was expecting maybe somewhere down around between 114 and between 114, let's say, and 110, the lower end of that band would call for this initial decline to be only wave 1 of a 5-wave move, because we need to make some ground. So if that's the case, then we'll just stick with this wave 1 and would expect a wave 2 counter trend rally next week. If we extend lower, if we keep punching lower early next week, that will signal that this is actually a 3rd wave decline already underway. I should have had a drink of water before I started this. Okay, anyway, next week, what I'm working with immediately is a counter trend correction higher in wave 2 before we sell off in wave 3. Okay, so cable, something not dissimilar, let's call it. I'm working with a triangle also, and it's a fourth wave triangle instead of a B wave triangle. So here we are, looking at an ABC pattern lower in wave D. If we were to continue that lineup, the target so far is down around this previous wave B, so that'd be 122.50. The pattern off the high is not. It just ain't screaming impulse wave just yet. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. If we get into the hourly chart here, you can see what I'm talking about. It's pretty choppy. I do like the fact that we did sell down again on Friday. So the count that I'm kind of working on is maybe this sell and this leg lower and corrective move higher is part of wave 3. So this could be wave 1 and 2 within wave 3. Wave 3 pink, excuse me, is what I'm saying. So wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we could be moving into a third of a third of a third of a C wave. If that's the case, then next week will be lower. I like the fact that we have 3 waves up and we sold down off Friday's high again. So, and that initial sell down on early Friday, late Thursday was pretty impulsive looking. So all in all, still pointing lower, but we need further downside to confirm wave 3. Dollar yen is the most tenuous at the moment, as it has been for a long time. I mean, I've been battling with dollar yen for years now at this stage, but I haven't changed my, let's say, long-term convictions, if you want to put it that way, that we have, in fact, a 3-wave move higher underway, an A triangle B wave, and then we should expect a C wave again over the next couple of years. And on the very upper extents of that, we're looking at somewhere up around 150 to complete that, but at the very low end of that target would be about 125. So, you know, there's a long way above us to go if this count is correct. The triangle pattern seems bang on. There doesn't seem to be any change in that over the last year, at least anyway. We have had some false starts to that possible C wave rally, and the recent rally and correction has been another one of those. So it looks like we're still completing a triangle, and we want to get out of this triangle up into a C wave. And you can see here, this is the final leg down of that triangle. So we've got a wave A down as a 3-wave move, so it's A, B, C down, and wave B up as a 3-wave move, and then wave 1, 2. And what I'm thinking about here is wave 1, 2, 3, triangle, wave 4, and wave 5. So kind of a real messy, stretched out third wave. 3 waves up in 4, and then maybe an end of diagonal wave 5. We'll get into the hourly chart and you'll see how that's turning out. Wave 4 here, and then wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We've moved higher again this late in the week, so late Thursday, early Friday. So far it's a very slight higher low, but no confirmation at all. I want to see 5 waves up and a pretty clear corrective higher low before we start getting bullish again on dollar yen. Who's going to stop me? Okay, stocks have come down pretty hard this week. If I am correct, which is always an if, you know, I don't want to be presumptuous on that. If I am correct on this one, then this should be only the initial move into either wave C of A, as I've shown here. Actually, I should get out to the... do I have a daily count? I should do. Let's get in there. So here's the daily count. This A, B, and C. So this is either, initially I was always counting this as 3 waves down in wave A. So this next move down could either be wave C of A, or it could be, we have A and B done, and it could be a 5-wave decline in wave C, which would target down around the 15,000 handle, and maybe even lower. I mean, if we break below that March low pretty solidly, then we could go all the way down. And challenge those 27 or 2007, 2009 kind of band area. So anywhere between 14 down to about 6. But it's very early days right now, and I'm learning not to be too presumptuous. Because there are some combinations or some permutations, let's say, of this 5th wave rally that can still call for, let's say, a final spike up in wave 5 of 5. So you could call this a very large expanded flat wave 4, and then a rally up into wave 5. So I'm not going to be too presumptuous just yet. I have been known to be, so maybe it's about time I start learning on that one. Okay, so the 4-hour chart shows the initial move down. Let's see how, on the hourly chart, how that's kind of faring out. So we've got maybe a leading diagonal. Wave 1 is what I'm kind of working with, possibly right now. And then a 3-wave correction higher in wave 2. We did create a lower high, only just, but that would suggest that we need an extension lower in wave 3, and a pretty large extension lower in wave 3. So this could be only wave 1 of 3. Maybe we're working on wave 2 of 3 right now. We punched higher again on Friday evening, so I'm looking at maybe a 3-wave pattern up in wave 2. You could also argue that we are just working on a series of 4th and 5th waves, so maybe wave 1 isn't even done yet. So I see 3 waves higher here on Friday. That could be wave 4, and then we'd expect another decline on Monday, maybe in wave 5. And betwixt and between on this one, it depends on how those subdivisions all kind of work out. I'm not going to call it right now. It's just, we're just going to have to wait and see on Monday. If we continue higher, then I would favor the idea that wave 2 is already underway. If we spike lower again, then we would probably work to a lower low in wave 5 of 1. So next week, tentatively calling a low on this one. The possibility of one more punch, let's say below that 26,000 handle before completing wave 1, and then we rally again in wave 2. If we get somewhere around a 50% retracement, well, let's see where we're at. It would always depend on where wave 1 completes, but you would probably look up towards 27.5 again in wave 2. If we have a previous 4th wave here at about 26,900, so again, it's another possibility between 26,900 and 27,500 ahead of us in a second wave. We should be completed in this second wave maybe around midweek. So then midweek again, I would start to look for some sort of move lower into a 3rd wave down. Okay, and that'll be a third of a third. So watch out on that one. It's going to be an interesting week anyway, no matter what. Even if I'm completely wrong on that, it's going to be a heck of an interesting week ahead of us in the stock market. Okay, gold. Here we are, 4-hour count in gold. still kind of just staggering along. I'm looking at this C wave already underway, and if that is the case, which I think it is, then we're kind of looking down around that 1700 level before we complete this wave 4. So that's wave A, wave B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 waves down in wave C. Let's get into the hourly chart, and we'll just look at this action, this kind of move to a slight higher low over the last month or so. I still think that this is best viewed as probably a 3-wave move higher in wave 2, and then we're getting some nice impulsive spikes to the downside again in as we start in wave 3, and this would be wave 3 of C. So if we go out to the 4-hour chart again, so this would be wave 1, 2, and then we'll start moving down in wave 3 of C. If wave 3 of C is underway, then this is a series of 1-2 waves, and that should culminate next week in a pretty significant step lower in a third of a third wave. The minimum, let's say the confirmation level would be a break of 1848, and I would like to see a break of that with a pretty sizable acceleration lower at the same time. So next week we're looking for 5 waves down in wave 3. So this third wave should probably head towards the 1800 level, possibly below that again, and we need to see an acceleration, so a kind of an extending pattern. So wave 1 and 2, and then 5 waves down in wave 3, which will do the bulk of the work, let's say, within wave 3. So next week I'm looking down. I want to see a break of 1848. Yeah, we're moving along here. Crude oil had a pretty brutal week as well this week. Can't say we weren't expecting it, because I was looking at this pretty clear 3-wave pattern, calling it maybe a complex flat or a straightforward flat, depending on how you count it. So we had 5 waves down, 3 waves up, which we were expecting at least. If you could draw a trend channel over this, which I can, because technology is amazing. Given that pattern, we had impulsive move down, corrective move higher. You would expect at least a move down to fill a trend channel. We've got the move to fill a trend channel. So what happens next? Well, let's get into the hourly chart here. We'll see. So we've got wave 1 in blue, wave 2 in blue, and now we're looking at either wave 3 of, I'd expect much further down. This is a real bad illustration here, actually. I do want to see us make some serious downside headway to break out of that trend channel. So I would expect wave 3, wave 3, 4, and 5 of this third wave to really start gaining some traction on the downside. Even though we've done a fair bit of work, but all we've done is fall to the bottom trend channel line. So that still puts it in the realm, if you go out here to the 4-hour chart, still puts it in the realm of a 3-wave move down. You want to see, if this is a third wave move, you want to see that really extending down back into the mid-20s probably, or somewhere around maybe 28 or 27 handle to finish a third wave down. So I would expect, go into the hourly count again, depending on the early action next week, if this is wave 4 of 3, you would expect a small rally at wave C, and then a further extension lower in wave 5 of 3. The other way we could view this is maybe only wave 1 of 3 is now let's say on the plate, and then we would have a wave 1 and 2 scenario again. I'm going to leave that in there. Let's get in, put that as an alter account. Okay, so we could be moving or tracing down 5 waves down within wave 1, and then some sort of a corrective lower high again in wave 2. It's a bit of a conundrum. I want to see more gains made to the downside in wave 3 in blue here. So that's kind of what I've been... let's say this is the problem I'm facing right now, is the structure of the decline hasn't extended enough, let's say, to warrant even a completed wave 3 of 3 yet. So really need to see some more downside action if that were possible, but it is possible. We need to see more downside and maybe even a further extension to the downside if this is wave 3 of 3. Maybe even push towards that 30 handle again. If we just see a small, let's say, spike lower and then a larger correction higher, we're probably talking about this alternate count here in wave 1 and 2, and then we'd have to leave wave 3 of 3 for another week or so. But anyway, I'll conclude by saying so far so good. Let's see how the early action next week splits the tea leaves. And might make some more sense of it on Monday night. Okay, so S&P pretty much in line with the count in the Dow. I'll just update this 4-hour chart here. We were looking for a sell-off. We've got a sell-off. We haven't got a break of wave 1 yet, which is a little bit concerning. Again, we still have that kind of 3-wave form in the offing. So the idea would be, is this just a 4th wave correction, a big flat, let's say, 4th wave correction before we move higher again into an alternate 5th of a 5th? If that's the case, we should probably know pretty soon. We would know most definitely by the end of next week if that alternate count is in play. Again, we're kind of spinning plates here. There's no point kind of dwelling too much on that. Just have to let the action speak for itself. Even if we got a break at that wave 1 low, that wouldn't guarantee the fact that this was let's say a 3rd wave decline. So let's get into the hourly count anyway. We kind of have the same conundrum here as we do in crude oil and also in the Dow, really. We need to see if this is a 3rd wave. If this is a large 3rd wave in blue. So I don't have a 3rd wave label. Let's get a 3rd wave label down here. If this is a large 3rd wave 3rd wave move, you go out to the 4-hour count here. You would expect to push down towards, I would say, down towards 2600 in wave 3. If we got a Fibonacci extension of the wave 1, if we got a Fibonacci extension of wave 1, let's see if we can actually move that over. We can't. Why won't you do that for me now? Yes, there we are. We would expect somewhere about 162% extension would bring us to 2900. 262% extension would bring us to 2500. So there's a band you can work with. That kind of illustrates the fact that we do need further significant declines in a 3rd wave, and something like a waterfall scenario that we had in March back there. So, something like a repeating accelerated moves to the downside with punctuated with corrections, let's say sideways with very little upside gain, and real kind of deep accelerations into the downside again. So you can see this scenario I'm working with. It's a we're on a knife edge at the moment. It's very well. We are very capable right now of creating that kind of accelerating pattern to the downside again. We just have to be vigilant. I'm going to try and be vigilant this week. So if we are going to push lower and really start to gain some points to the downside here, we may even look at more favorably at that alternate scenario for a larger 1-2 wave in green there, and I will put that in as a possible alternate right now. Okay, so we would look at 5 waves down in only wave 1 of 3 over the last few days. The current count I'm working with, yeah, it's still possible. I mean, it may extend even lower again. We're kind of looking at these spike highs here. Wave A at 33.08. We might get if we got a break at 33, let's say we hit 33.10 and we spike lower again, it may be a case that this third wave is extending even further down. Kind of have to watch this space really. The early action next week will help us differentiate, I think. Depending on the size of any correction higher, it's either a fourth wave or a second wave. So let's keep an eye on that one. There is going to be some sort of reasonable correction higher, either in wave 4 or wave 2. So we'll track this between Monday and Tuesday. Let's see if we can differentiate between these two wave counts. If the main wave count is correct, then I do really want to see some more, a shallow correction and some more extending patterns to the downside again. Okay, so silver, we made some reasonable inroads into this pattern in wave 2. So that's wave C of 2 I'm looking at here. I'm still looking at that's ABC down, ABC up in B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then wave 5 should be extending down now. Again, the minimum target is below 21. So let's say a break at that 2160 level again. I should never record a video at nighttime. I'll talk myself to sleep. Okay, so we're still looking at 5 waves down in a C wave. Into the hourly count here, you can see that I've got wave 4 top after a 3 wave corrective rally, and then we're moving lower in a wave 5. What I'm working with right now is wave 1 and 2 is complete, and we are extending lower in wave 3 of 5 of C. So we still want further downside. I have kind of always in my mind looked at down towards that kind of 2019 or 1920 area, and the reason I'm been kind of touting that, as you can see these lines here, we kind of form significant high in wave 4 down around 19. We have a very long sideways corrective consolidation here around that 18-19 level as well, so that should form a good base to complete this possible second wave, and at that point we will probably see complete capitulation, let's say, on the bullish part or on the bullish side of the market, and that should give us an opportunity to the upside again, I think, in an even larger rally in wave 3. So if this is wave 1 and 2 on the daily count here, then we're looking at a very large rally in wave 3 once this second wave is complete, and I think we could be talking about a doubling of prices in the space of 6 months or so. Something which happened quite recently in this wave 1. So yeah, I'm I'm kind of, I'm a weird fish. The longer this correction goes on, the deeper it gets, the more bullish I get. So let's see how this second wave completes over the next couple of weeks. We might even complete it next week, depending on how the action goes. And then we'll be looking for a bullish higher low to indicate that wave 3 up is beginning. I'm going to move on to Bitcoin now. So Bitcoin has played the game quite well over the last couple of weeks. We were looking at a triangle scenario in a fourth wave, and then pointing towards pretty reasonable rally, or a serious rally, in wave 5. We've got that rally. We've actually hit the initial target. So that 13,800 level was the target for a good couple of months now. Well, probably ever since I've introduced these charts. So the reason I'm looking at 13,800 is because that's the wave A high way back in June of June 19. So we have, overall, I'm looking at a 3-wave pattern in wave B. It looks like it's a zigzag pattern, so it's an A, B, C. Wave C is tracing out 5 waves up. And we look to be right at the end of, let's say, that 5th wave of wave C of B. The upper end of this trend channel, or this projection, is showing maybe between 14,500 and 15,000. We've pretty much hit the minimum target there at about 13,800. So I think we are closer to a serious top in Bitcoin than anything else. I'm not saying that the top is in. Like I said, we could push up towards these upper trend channel lines here. We have 2 trend channels. The trend channel surrounding wave C, that's wave C in red, and the trend channel surrounding wave B. So that points us up towards, well, above 14,500 anyway, so maybe up to about 15,000 to complete this wave C of B. Then I'm looking hard negative for a significant period of time, and we may, dare I say, we may even get sub $1,000 Bitcoin before I'm finished with it. Okay, next week in Bitcoin, I'm looking for a completion of a possible triangle. Actually, Friday's action did that. It hasn't ruled out a triangle, but we may extend a little bit further. It's a corrective pattern anyway, in maybe a 4th wave, and this would be a 4th wave within wave 5. So we're looking at wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So one more reasonable rally in Bitcoin up towards up above 14,500, let's say, and maybe pushing as far as 15,000, and that'll complete wave. Let's get a 4-hour chart there. Excuse me. That'll complete wave 5 of C. There's actually what do you call them? Fireworks going on outside, or the occasional bangers going off and stuff like that. So if you do hear bangs in the background here, that's what you're hearing. Okay, I think that's Bitcoin sufficiently jabbered on about. Let's move on to FTSE. I was looking for a decline out of a triangle, and so far we seem to be creating some sort of an impulsive move lower, possibly a third of a third happening earlier this week with the consolidation on Friday there. This is a large 5th wave of a 3rd wave, so if you can see here, looking lower in wave 5 of 3 with a minimum target of about 4,700. What, says you? Yeah. You can see here the previous 3rd wave back in March. came in at about 4,700 or 4,770 or so. So I'd expect wave 5 to push below that 4,770 level, and possibly down towards the 4,000 level before we're finished. The initial decline is again facing the same sort of conundrum. Is this only wave 1 of this fifth wave? If so, then we have much more downside ahead of us, and maybe this wave count isn't doing it justice at all. But this wave count does still allow for an acceleration lower in wave to complete wave 3, and that could bring us down, reasonably into the 5,200 level, and then we correct again, some sort of a sideways consolidation, and then we move lower again in wave 5 of 5, and wave 5 of 5 could reasonably push below 4,700. Is that 4,770? Again, somewhere down around there. For next week, though, I want to see a continuation of this impulsive move lower in a possible third wave, and wave 3 of 5, and we could get a significant decline again. I want to see that wave 1 low hold there at 57. Well, yeah, let's say I want to see price hold below 5,700. Okay. The DAX, we were looking for, again, acceleration lower to begin, and we seem to have got acceleration lower underway right now. This could be a third wave again, and on the hourly chart, you can see that's what I'm working with. And this would be wave, this would be wave 3 of wave 5, wave 3 of 1. So we may be only completing a first wave down here. And so far so good. This third wave is extending and it's accelerating. So everything fits the picture so far. There's no particular reason to change it. I was always talked a couple of weeks ago about the DAX and FTSE kind of pointing the way lower for the wider stock market, the larger stock markets in the US, and that has been the case. That we got to move lower out of a triangle in FTSE, and we got to move lower out of a second wave in the DAX, and that has transferred over to the US markets also. So we're all selling. Everybody's moving in unison here. Now that I look at this, this could be only a wave 3 and 4 of 3 now completing. We will have to parse that out on Monday again, depending on how the action plays out. For next week, some sort of a consolidation to finish in a fourth wave. We'll call it either wave 4 pink or wave 4 blue at 1 higher degree, and then another punch lower in wave 5 of 3. Okay, there's more bangers going off. As we move on to the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is an interesting one again. We seem to be kind of on the cusp again of a pretty serious acceleration. We haven't moved down into the September lows yet again, but you would expect that, wouldn't you? The hourly chart is, let's say, pointing that way, tentatively pointing to some sort of an acceleration into a third of a third of a third. If that's the case, then we should, early next week should be further selling. It should, and we should move below the wave 1 low at let's say 1060 or 10670 again with ease in a third of a third, and possibly a third of a third of a third, depending on how this pattern plays out. if we get a correction again, and we have built some pretty reasonable pivot highs here, so we're building resistance as the pattern builds to the downside. You know, I'm cautious in the I think the takeaway for me here in the Nasdaq is I'm cautious, because I cannot rule out a larger corrective move depending on how the early action goes next week. So if we kind of close out a series of fourth and fifth waves, then this will point to a 1-2 scenario, a larger 1-2 scenario within wave 3. So, you know, we are, or I am, let's say, a little bit on tenterhooks about the Nasdaq. I don't want to make any major calls on this one just yet. Anyway, let's move into Hong Kong market. I haven't been following the Hang Seng particularly closely, and I am a sinner because of that. I haven't been as attentive as I should be to the Hong Kong market, and I did say to you guys that I would follow it. There is a kind of idea in the back of my head that, you know, maybe we're working on some sort of large triangle here, and because the moves, let's say, off the March highs have been pretty, let's say, convoluted, pretty overlapping, and again, we're rallying back in 3 waves, we're falling in 3 waves, we're, you know, rally to retrace previous internal lows and highs again. I think this one's just going to have to rest to the sideline until we can figure some sort of reasonable pattern for this in the Hang Seng in the short term. If it's a triangle, and it could also be a bearish triangle, I mean, we could be completing some sort of B wave high before we head lower into a C wave. So I'm going to hang tough on this one and see if we can complete maybe a 3-wave move higher over the next week or so, and that would again point lower in the medium term anyway. Okay, I think I've done it. If I keep recording right now and I keep talking, I'll probably just fall asleep and you'll hear me snoring, and that's not going to make for an interesting video at all. Thank you guys, all members of the website, guys and gals. Thanks for hanging around with me for another week. You know, blessings to you all. You've been a blessing to my life. I hope I've been helpful to you in some small way. To everybody on YouTube, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you all same time next week, hopefully a little bit earlier, so I won't be falling asleep on you. Have a great weekend. Blessings to you all, and hopefully, God willing, we'll make it through another week to see you on the other side. Okay, God bless. Be good. What else would you be doing? Bye-bye.